guys, and welcome back to our second to last part in our training seminar. And today, in part 9, we're going to be talking about training and putting it all together. And our tagline today is this: we're going to be building your fitness strategy. And today really is a review, because we've spent so much time in depth talking about the training model, that really today is just an overview of how to put it all together. And as far as putting your fitness plan together, and I said it all along, you can take our steps, you can do a little bit of research on your own, you can just take some of the tips and hints we gave you and use that in your own. But obviously we're not able to get specific, so finding a good fitness professional or allowing us to put your plan together, we're just hoping that through this process, as we put your plan together, that this all makes sense for you. That it makes sense for you why we do what we do, and that there is a purpose behind what we're doing. So today we just want to go over some of the basics, review a lot of the stuff that we were talking about. And a definition I want to give to you today is program design. And let's look at the definition. The definition, as I have written it down, is a purposeful system or plan put together to help an individual achieve a specific goal. So I think that the important word in that is purposeful, or having a purpose, because in program design, as we talk a lot about vision, when you're clear what your vision is, then through proper program design, there is a very direct and purposeful system that helps match that vision, which is what we consider your goal. So when you're talking about goals, it's like, this is what my vision is, this is what this goal is, and this is the strategy or system that we're putting together to achieve that. So that's all that it is. Everything that we've talked about up till now comes together. We talk about the different components, and the different components with flexibility, core, balance, reactive or power, strength, and cardiovascular work. That it's all a part of your program design. So it's like, okay, how do we put a program together for people? And it goes back to our most probably famous saying, is when we say it all depends. It all depends on you. It depends on a number of different factors. It depends on, what, we'll get into that a little bit on what it depends on. But it does depend on a number of different ways. But essentially, we can look at the model at which the training that we function under is 3 different building blocks that we've already talked about: stability, strength, and power. 5 different phases. There is, 1 phase that we cover in stability, 3 phases that we cover in strength, and 1 phase that we cover in power. And in that, there's 2 more advanced phases where we do what's called corrective exercise, those that are recovering from injury, or a bridge between therapy and getting back into the gym, or it can also cover those that are very deconditioned or not used to exercise. And then we also have more of an elite, advanced performance program as well too. But in the core of it, for most people, they're going to fall in these 5 particular phases under stability, strength, and power. And what we just mentioned is, in each workout, there are a number of different phases. And those phases include flexibility, core, balance, reactive, strength, and cardiovascular. And under each of those, there's different phases to each of those. So there's 3 different phases of flexibility. There's corrective flexibility, there's active flexibility, and there's dynamic flexibility. Basically, corrective flexibility falls under the stability phase, active flexibility falls under the strength phase, and your dynamic flexibility falls under when you're in the power phases. Same thing with core. There's core stabilization, there's core strength movements, and there's core power movements. Same thing with balance and reactive work. There are stability, strength, and power for each of those. Strength workouts change for each one. There's, for stability, there's stability, strength-oriented workouts. There is strength-oriented workouts, and power, strength-oriented workouts. And then finally, cardiovascular. We've already talked about the 3 different levels of cardiovascular training. And they're all kind of designed to work in different ways. Like your body burns calories, like we've already talked about, based on the intensity. Your body will either burn greater stored fat or a greater percentage of stored carbohydrates based on the phase that you're in. And the terms get a little bit technical, such as oxidative or glycolysis or ATP, CP. It really depends on the intensity level, will determine how your body utilizes calories and stored energies and so forth, to be able to output the activity that you're giving it. So when we look at, in a nutshell, stability, what is stability training? Well, stability is helping to improve intra and intermuscular coordination. That is getting coordination between one muscle, one particular muscle, getting coordination between multiple muscles. It's improving the balance and core stabilization of your body. It's essentially getting the foundation of your body in place so it can handle higher demands. And then you get into strength training, and that gets into a larger load, more volume, more load that's put onto your system, so your body then can build more muscular strength. But if you try doing those extra loads when your foundation or your core is weakened, then not only will your results be less, but your risk of injury is going to be higher too. So, and then you get into power, and it's very dynamic, very forceful movements, maybe not as much volume, but the number of sets are higher, the repetitions are lower, but you're using a very high intensity, very quick, very speed-oriented movements. And that's kind of the differences between strength, stability, and power. But the most important thing to understand is that under all of those things, flexibility, core, balance, reactive or power, strength, and cardiovascular, based on the phase and the state that you're in, it will be different for each phase that you're in. And you won't maintain one particular phase. You should go throughout it and incorporate periodization training like we talked about previously. So you're like, okay, what are some of the things that determine what phase we put you in? Well, some of the things that I have written down here is things that can have some variables to that, or determine what kind of phase we're going to put you in. Number one, it will depend on the phase that you're in. Are you in a stability-oriented workout? Are you in a strength-oriented workout? Or are you in a power-oriented workout? What exactly are your goals? What's your vision? What are you trying to accomplish? That will determine what phase we put you in. What's your age? What is your work capacity? How much do you work outside of the gym? How much are you working, or how much are you able to actually exercise? What is your recovery ability? How quickly can you recover from exercise? How many days rest do you need in between? How good is your nutrition? What's your nutrition status? How well are you eating? What does your nutrition look like? And your injury history. Those are all things, because we may have to incorporate that corrective exercise advanced phase. We may have to incorporate the performance enhancement phase. And all of those variables go into place in order for us to determine what phase or what type of training we need to put you in. And then you look at what we consider something called acute variables, different things within, we talked about how they vary, how flexibility, core, balance, how they all vary based on the phase that you're in. Well, how we vary that is we look at things such as, the adaptation, that you're in, and the adaptation would be, are we going to be using a strength-oriented phase, a stability-oriented phase, or power-oriented phase? We can change the amount of repetitions that you use. We can change the amount of sets that you use. We can change the intensity or the amount of load that's put onto your body that you have to move. We can change the rest periods, in between your sets as well. And other thing too that we can also look at based on going back and talking about your work capacity is how frequently are we going to train? How are we going to train? How often are we going to train? Are we going to do high volume? In understanding the difference between high volume and light intensity, and low volume and high intensity. Low volume and high intensity, and high volume and light intensity, they each have their own specific things in mind. They each have their own purposes in mind. So we need to understand the differences between those as well. And that's something that myself or us as fitness professionals here at yourvirtualfitness.com or other fitness professionals in your area can help you understand. And then something very important is you can't fly by the seat of your pants. We talked about having a clear vision. And a vision's great. But if you just say, well, if you understand what you want to accomplish, but the strategy is not ideal, then you're not going to also accomplish your vision either, because the two have to match and they have to be parallel. So how we do that is we look at, okay, what is the vision? Where are you at? All these acute variables, such as your goals, your age, your work capacity, your recovery ability, your nutrition, your injury. What of those can improve? Where are you currently at? And then we put together a plan. And then what we do to be as accurate as possible is we then should break it down into a yearly plan where we map out your year and how your year may look based on what your goals are. And then we look at, okay, let's break that down even further. Within the month, what is your month going to look like? And break it down even further and say, what is your week going to look like? And then break it down even deeper than that and say, what is your day going to look like? So we break it down into yearly, monthly, weekly, and daily, because it's good to have long and short-term goals. And so when your vision is there, like I've said before, if the vision changes, then we can always look at readjusting the plan or the strategy based on what happens to your vision. But we want to start off with the yearly, monthly, weekly, daily plan, because that will keep you more accountable, it will keep you more structured, and it's going to give you a much better idea of what you're doing moving forward. Some different goals that we usually run into is, a lot of people will say general fitness, and we're like, well, what does that mean? What does general fitness mean? Are you just looking to, in almost 95% of it is, I either want to lose body fat or lose weight, or I want to build lean muscle, or I want to perform better. It's usually one of those three things. And there's definite health considerations. I want to, my doctor said I need to work out more to reduce cholesterol, to get my heart in better shape, to reduce risk of diabetes, or whatever the case may be. But it's all a product of, by if exercising, eating well, just by naturally, it's a product of that where, if by doing all that, you're naturally just going to get in better shape. You're naturally going to lose weight. You're naturally going to build more muscle. You're naturally going to be in better health. But if we can more clearly define what your goals are, have a clear idea for what your vision is, then we can look at, okay, is it body fat loss? Okay, then we need to go in this direction. Maybe we need to do a combination of more stability and strength, do that combination. Maybe if it's athletic performance, maybe we need to do more power and strength. If it's just building muscle, maybe it's just strength training. But understanding your vision will help out tremendously. And the final thing that I want to talk about with program design and putting this all together is that all of the phases, or let me rephrase it, the stability phase is necessary for everybody, no matter who they are. No matter if you've been in the gym for 20 years, no matter if you've been in the gym for a day, no matter if you're an elite athlete, no matter if you're just starting off. Stability is the foundation, it's the core. Having proper core stabilization, having proper balance, reducing muscular imbalances. It's absolutely essential to have a better functional quality of life structurally, and most importantly, if you're trying to build muscle and get toned, with having greater balance and reducing muscular imbalances, you will be able to build muscle quicker. For those that are looking to perform or be better athletes, by reducing muscular imbalances, by having greater functionality, by having better core balance and stabilization, your performance is going to be much better based on doing that. So, there's some people, most people are going to be in that strength-oriented phase. Some are going to venture into the power-oriented phase. Everybody needs stability-oriented training. I really appreciate you joining us today. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow when we cover our final phase in training. And I hope you have yourself a great day.
When you feel that something's wrong, I'll shelter you and keep you warm.